Hi, I'm Millie Murillo.
I'm Ashley Torrent.
And I'm Patsy Kenny.
Welcome to the Blue Butterfly Effect podcast, a gathering place for real conversations and quiet revolutions.
Hello. Welcome back to the Blue Butterfly Effect podcast. I am Patsy Kenny. I'm here with my beautiful and talented co-hosts, Ashley Torrent and Millie Murillo. How are you, ladies?
Good.
Good.
So lovely to be with you both. We are excited to dive into another topic today, and it's a rather provocative one, I think. And I'm really excited to dig into it with you. But before we reveal what that is, I thought it would be really lovely to have Ashley kick us off with a soul reset. They've been really well received. Thank you all for your feedback. It's always nice to hear those things.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so everyone, so glad you're here. And I just invite you to just take a moment to just intentionally shift gears as you become aware of your breath, and whether you're walking or sitting or whatever feels best for you. Just becoming mindful of your breath. Just noticing your inhale and your exhale. And as you breathe, you're giving your body to shift gears for a moment. You're intentionally meeting this moment, this space, this conversation, yourself in a softer way, in a little bit of a slower way. And if it feels hard to do this, that's okay. At first, it can feel hard. So if you could just witness yourself with curiosity and compassion, just breathing as you are, as your body needs to. And I love this moment of breathing because it's us moving away from the busyness of our days and really shifting that energy into a softer energy, a slower energy of soul, of heart, of spirit. It's a feminine energy that makes us more available to receive and to be open. It's an energy of trust and surrender. And as we breathe, we invite the light of our soul to the forefront of our awareness, inviting it to fill our heart space, rising like the morning sun within us, expressing its divinity, its love, its light, feeling the warmth of its gaze. This soul, this unconditional presence that reminds us that we are love. And in your next breath, invite that light to expand even more so that it fills every corner of your being. Imagine your body radiating in your soul's light. You can feel it in your bones and your muscles and your blood and your cells, love radiating through you. Your nervous system feeling the love, your brain feeling the love. Feeling the vibration of your energetic and physical body shift. And just breathe in that expansiveness, being with it. And then inviting your light to move down through the center of your being, through your legs, through your feet, through your toes, and rooting into the earth. And we offer our love and gratitude to this beautiful planet. Thank you, Mama Earth, for your unconditional love and presence. Thank you for being our home. And we offer you a prayer of well-being and peace on your earth body. And we take a moment and offer our love to the collective body, this body of souls that we are a part of that unites us, this reminder that love unites us, that we are truly never separate. that we are one, and that no act of kindness or compassion or generosity or love goes unnoticed, that it all matters. So we offer a prayer to this collective body that may all beings remember their true nature, may all beings be free. May there be peace and harmony in the collective. And staying rooted into the earth, we invite our light to move up to the center of our body and out the crown of our heads. And invite your light to expand out into the universe. Imagine you're radiating from root to crown, shining, effervescent, illuminated, love. And we offer our love and gratitude to the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, all those mysterious and magical forces that support our life. Thank you, thank you. And breathing in your own expansiveness. Breathing with your soul for a moment. Breathing with your heart. Breathing with the love that you are. And with your next breath, take a moment and become aware of the space you're in or your surroundings. Open your eyes at your own pace. And just knowing that you are meeting this conversation in yourself, in love. So be it, and so it is.
So be it, so it is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ash. Such a beautiful way to start, especially as we launch into today's topic. So, we would like to explore the theme of misery and how that is normalized. We're living in a time that is really easy to be overwhelmed by all the reasons why life is really challenging, devastating. There's a lot of sadness that's easy to find. And it's so, I think we can quickly find our way into this space of normalizing that sensation of misery. And we also have all heard and been participants in that phrase, misery loves company, how quickly it is to kind of spread when you're in conversation with people in different parts of your life. So that's what we're going to unpack today. Really curious to hear each of your perspectives. I've been thinking about it a lot and can quickly go to recent, conversations I've had or spaces I've been in where that has been the norm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my experience with that has been um, almost feeling uncomfortable in certain scenarios or circles, almost feeling uncomfortable to share good things, to
Yeah.
share. Um, no, like I get everything that's happening, and I'm happy. Like overall, I'm content with my life, and I'm I am I feel so grateful and fortunate to be in partnership with a lovely man who we've created a peaceful life together, right? And those are things that I know, and perhaps even very, very few people, both of you included, know how much work that has taken,
Yeah.
right? Mostly internal work. The internal work that it takes to say, I deserve to be content in my life. I deserve to live a peaceful life. I deserve to overcome the parts of me that are not waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? And
Yeah.
the amount of internal work that that takes requires commitment to self and commitment to not entertaining anything outside of yourself that isn't congruent with that,
Yeah.
right? So when we speak of this, of experiencing joy or peace or contentment in our lives, in a world that is very dense, I think when people don't know what to do with that and are dismissive of it, I mean, as with anything else, it speaks of what's happening within them. And I think that's important to remember.
Mhm. Yes. And this was happening before the world felt like it was on fire. This has been a common thing that happens within families, within friends. It's
Mhm.
I've noticed it too, where people like don't believe that you're happy, or like for me, that you get along with your kids or your partner of 25 years. Like they're looking for like the crack in the system,
Yep.
that you could love being with your kids. And like it's like I've noticed. I told Millie this once, that someday I want to write a chapter or a book that joy is not a punishable offense. Like it felt like growing up, my joy deserved punishment.
Mm.
And I've noticed the ways I've protected myself against other people's reaction to my joy. And
Yep.
again, yes, the world feels what it is, and this has been going on for a long time. So let's not pretend that it hasn't. Um, and
It's
I
so true.
think it's so true. And I feel like it's time for us all to grow up a bit, in the sense like, let's be happy. Let's celebrate each other's happiness, like their wins, their growth, their beauty, their love, their relationships. Like, let them be reflections of what's possible for us. Like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness, like our egos are so sensitive to other people's success and beauty. It's like, enough.
Yeah.
Put that down, for goodness sakes. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God, that's so good, Ash. It's so good. I I I was thinking about it in spaces like, especially as I've worked so diligently to create a business practice that I absolutely love. I mean, this has been like a decade long experiment in, shaving off, becoming a little bit more aligned, becoming a little bit more aligned, and now I'm like, I'm pinching myself that I'm waking up every day working with the most incredible people, like choosing my schedule, building in like moments of connection with people who are dear to me, having a leisurely start to my day, walking, right? And that being like, okay, like, looked at as, like you were saying, in these other contexts as like, is that really possible? How, well, isn't there stress in these areas? Like always pointing to the misery piece, or turning it off like, oh, must be nice.
Mhm.
Like, all good for you but not for me. And I just love your emphasis on like, let it be, let each of us see within each other like what's possible. I love
Mhm.
that so much.
What
Mhm.
you're naming, these are metaphysical teachings that have been taught for, I
Yeah.
mean, decades, right? Abraham
Mhm.
Hicks being one of them, that teaches that we are all here to mirror one another. And so when you witness someone in their light, when you witness someone in their fullest expression, that is an invitation for
Yes.
you and a reminder that you get to do that too. It's a permission
Mhm.
slip, right? So
Mhm.
when we come back to self, when we do the deep dive within self and begin to say, oh, this is what love feels inside of me. And look at how precious it is. And look at how much it deserves to exist in this world because I deserve to feel this way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There is something in misery that can feel, I think, very addicting
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
because you hold on to the story, and that story keeps you from diving deep within yourself and confronting your own personal responsibility in some of the things that you've endured.
Yes.
And this is where we have to create capacity to hold multiple truths at once. All of us here, all three of us here, have been through some shit, a lot of it, right? And somewhere in there, we've had to say, okay, but what's my part?
Mm-hmm.
And what do I need to do? How do I create a conversation, an ongoing conversation, a relationship to source, to spirit, to God,
Yeah.
to
Yes.
move through this? And that, we've said this before, is love, but love is a practice. Spirituality
Yes.
is a practice. Having faith is a practice. And that's the part that's hard. And it is until it's
Yes.
not.
Until it's not. Until that becomes the norm. And then,
Exactly.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And you were going with the personal responsibility where I was headed is we know the brain tends towards the negative. Okay. And if you don't know that, the brain tends towards the negative. Anyone listening. So you can expect your brain to light up when there's something scary or negative happening. Um, what I've noticed is we have normalized things like anxiety. We have normalized depression. We have normalized being tired. We have normalized feeling not so great, not energetic. And what I mean is, I have heard people have told me stories where like every one of their friends is on either an anti-anxiety or an antidepressant. And if they're not on it, they're questioning why. Everyone in their family feels tired or not so great most of the time or kind of anxious. I hear these stories all the time. Like, this is just normal. And when you were talking about personal responsibility, instead of accepting this as facts, when anxiety is normalized, there's something wrong. But we're constantly like, my kids are anxious, I'm anxious, my brother's anxious, my partner's anxious, we're all anxious. So that makes me go, what the fuck is going on that we're all so anxious? Like, that's the question I want us to be asking, not what pill do I need to be taking to suppress this? And I'm not against medicine. I know that there's a time and a place for it. But when our doctors are handing out prescriptions like candy, and that's their first response to you have anxiety, or everyone you know is doing the same thing, that's when I'm like, I feel like we're not asking enough questions. We're not asking deeper questions. It
And
reminds me
especially
of
not the right ones.
not the right ones. Like, what is going on? It's like, it reminds me of when people go, they say, like, oh, I have a teenager. You know how that is. No, I don't, because I don't accept that in my house. I'm not going to have someone who isolates themselves and does not communicate and becomes like rude and disrespectful and mean. That does not exist in my house, but that's a normalized behavior. And that boggles my mind. Like, when we accept that this person who's part of our community, just because they're of a teenage age, can be rude to the people they're living with, there's a problem. So it's like, this is what I mean. We keep saying it's just the way it is. And I'm like, no, it's not. And we got to change
Right.
it. I am lit up today,
Yeah.
obviously.
I am thrilled. I will get on this electric train. Um, yeah, I think it goes back to, it kind of builds beautifully on the conversation we were having last episode around anxiety and this incongruence. So when we return to self and we start to say, okay, like, let's take responsibility here.
Yeah.
The anxiety for me is that it's like a little like, ooh, pause. I'm feeling this. Why? Right? Let me sit with that. There's an incongruency happening internally with
Yeah.
the outside world, expectations, what have you, right? And so I feel like I've really been thinking about this in context of work for years. I spent time in corporate, environments, and 9 times out of 10, every job I had within those types of spaces, I was in the trenches, formed deep bonds real quick with people around the misery of the culture
Yeah.
at each one of these organizations, right? And so we were getting stuff done, but we were constantly chirping about what was wrong with the environment. And we felt powerless, right? Because in the, within the roles that we had, we weren't in managerial positions. We were just sort of adapting to the environment we were in and doing our best swimming upstream without life preservers. And so, but like I look back on that time and it didn't change until I decided to change, right? Like I would leave the organization, or I would decide, okay, I'm going to come in with a different mindset today. I'm going to bring this kind of energy to the meeting that is otherwise rather, dysfunctional, for lack of a better word, right? So I started to make small changes to kind of preserve my, yeah, like mitigate the anxiety I was feeling during the day, and then making a plan for later down the line I ended up leaving or changing or what have you. So I just wanted to kind of bring that back to like the change is really, right, like within us to decide, like, and no decision, right, like not taking action is also a choice, but can you find a way toward acceptance in any given scenario before making change? Like we really have the power to do that.
We do.
Yeah. And the amount of, again, self-responsibility and agency that requires for us to have and to remember. And here's the thing, it's not, I'm not saying this from a place of judgment. It's, we have been conditioned to believe that we have no agency or
Of course.
self-responsibility,
Right.
right? We have been conditioned to forget that part.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go back to it, it's our responsibility to remember.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at this from an astrological perspective, we really are entering a time of remembering. And what that means is a full remembering of I am source. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. So I think gone are the days, gone is the time where we can pretend to just live this life from a strictly human perspective and kind of have this separation between spirit and human. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we talk about the normalization of misery and this density between our human self and our higher self continues to thin and continues to really become apparent of how much those two things are working with one another at any time,
Yeah.
you will notice that your soul is going to call you out.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice, because we are not, everyone is going to be so into themselves. There's a huge calling back to self that to some it's going to feel selfish and it might seem that way, all of the things. But how do you come back to yourself to remember that agency and recognize that doing that is actually your responsibility?
Yeah.
This isn't just a mindset shift, right? This is the understanding that your thoughts, your frequency really do create the reality that you live in. And I think that talking about those things has been so dumbed down and has
Yeah.
been deduced to just woo and really ridiculous things, when essentially that's really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's always been about. And we're looking for this gap, we're looking for something to fill this gap, and the gap can only be filled within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Does
and
that
when
make
we,
sense?
yeah, absolutely. But when we normalize suffering, which to me I think turns out to be soul sickness, when we normalize or numb out or accept suffering as is, we've missed the wake up call. The pain, the discomfort, the contrast, the suffering is the wake up call to something better. It's the catalyst to ask, what in my life needs to change? If I have so much anxiety and I'm looking around, like, what can I do different? What do I need to look at? And people don't want to talk about suffering. They don't want to talk about, they're like, ooh, why would we want to talk about that? I remember when we were going to talk about this at a retreat we were doing, Millie, nobody wanted to talk about it. I'm like, because people are missing that that's the red flag that's being raised by your soul saying, let's do something different. That's what woke me up. And so
Yeah.
so that's where the responsibility comes in is, okay, this feels terrible. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I hate my job. I hate where I'm living, whatever it is. Okay, things aren't working out the way I'm
Mm.
doing them. How can I look at this differently? If I'm loving myself, what choices would I make? And I always find that when we turn to love, when we say, if I was, the next thing I did or thought or chose was out of self-love, what would that look like? Not fear. And the lens really shifts. Like that's when things start really happening.
Totally. And that in that moment, so it's like, so often we stop ourselves and just go to like the normalization because our brain kicks in when we even approach the question, right? If we're not in practice of turning it over to love or approaching it through the lens of love. So it kicks in and it's like, well, I have to pay my bills and I can't change this. And where would I possibly move to? And, those sorts of things start to kind of override and like bring us back down to that misery space. Like, okay, then I'm going to endure because I don't have the answers to all of these questions. But it's not our responsibility to figure out the how. This is the fun part. This is where spirit, where source, where Dr. Lisa Miller refers to life comes to meet you. Like when you sit in that space of love and you start to reclaim that responsibility and you say, okay, this is no longer working. I'm open to what's possible next. And
Right.
you remain open through that space of love. Like stuff starts to show up. This is where the magic in the mundane becomes so clear. And opportunities fall out of the sky, right? The next thing you know, you're in a coffee shop and somebody runs into you haven't seen in 10 years and says, oh, what are you doing now? Oh, and then like there's a connection point that you didn't see coming that leads to the next job or housing opportunity or lead on whatever it is your heart's ready to move toward, to come back into harmony with.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We're entering this time where the reciprocity with life, this dance with life itself, is so alive. It always has been, but again, the density has was able to take over, and now because so many things are we're coming out of the illusion of so many things, that density is softening. So I love what you said, Patsy, because this is you opening yourself up, and it requires a lot of humility to say, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do, right? I think one of the biggest lies we've been told is that we have to do this life alone. And here's what I mean by that. We forget that our spirit, our human came into this world with guides and angels, right? Like the universe is always listening. And the thing is that the human mind has created such constructs. This 3D reality has created such constructs where it's like, well, I want to see it now and I want to see it this way and I want it, right? There's a lot of control in that. And we're moving into a space where it's not about control. It's about the reciprocity that you have with life. It's about the relationship that you create to source, to spirit, to the universe.
Yeah.
And it requires that we take a step back and say, okay, I don't know. And that's okay. It requires patience. And all of this is happening. This elevation of consciousness is happening not because anyone is broken, not because anyone needs fixing, but because we have forgotten that that magic exists.
Yeah.
But because we have forgotten that presence is all that exists,
Yeah.
that the moment now is all that exists. So I've talked about this on Instagram, and I was doing an Instagram live, and someone asked, "Well, how do you do that?" And I realized, oh wow, like, oh okay, people don't know how to do that. And so my answer to her was, when I go to the park for a walk, I'm sure people think I'm crazy because sometimes I will be talking out loud. I don't care. I'm walking my dog. I'm in like a trance of my connection to spirit. And every once in a while, I'll be speaking out loud. I know my mouth is moving. There's no one with me. But it's what are you focusing on when you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
What are your thoughts throughout the day? Who are you communicating with throughout the day? Because this space around us that is seemingly empty is not empty. It's just as alive as the energy of our thoughts. So why does this what does this have to do with misery and it being normalized? Is that you've forgotten how much you actually write your own misery and that you get to do the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful and a bit confronting.
It is confronting when you recognize the vigilance, not hypervigilance, the vigilance it requires to tend to your thoughts and how often your thoughts are telling you scary, bad things, and often about yourself. I mean, I've talked about this before. I just feel like for a lot of people, their minds are just like chewing them up all day long. And then, not to mention that, what about this? And what about this? And what about that? And when you recognize, I mean, thoughts create feelings and the feelings create an experience in the body. If you're not vigilant with your thoughts, you're living in a scary fantasy that you think you have no control of. And so
Right.
what Millie's saying is what I'm hearing is like noticing, what are you paying attention to? And you can quickly shift out of like, oh wow, I just had a really negative scary fantasy that something was going to happen, or I thought something negative about myself, and you can choose like to come back to like, what do I want to focus on? Who could be here with me that I could call on if I feel scared? My angels, my guides can start talking. I love to talk to my soul. That is my biggest ally. I'm constantly like, help me, be with me, remind me who I am, show me love. Like I'm on an ongoing conversation with my soul all day long because it's the most loving, steady place within me. And so that's what we're inviting you to do. But it requires, again, personal responsibility and intentional choice and action. This doesn't happen automatically. Your mind happens automatically. But the
Right.
experience of love and joy and magic and possibility is intentional.
It is. And it's really awe inspiring when you start to be in that consistent practice.
Yes.
It really is. And then to be able to connect on that level and that spiritual plane and see how that's manifesting in your physical world and then be able to share that with others. That's the thing I think that will continue to uplift um, and ripple out
Mhm.
into the physical world.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I think that speaks to then when we see, right, misery and tragedy and travesty take place
Mhm.
all over the world. We didn't come here to be human to ignore what's around us. We came here to obviously be in it, right?
Yeah.
And so to think that we have absolutely no power as to how we affect the collective. And the mind will tell you that. And, we are conditioned to believe that. But that's thinking strictly from the mind and forgetting the power of the soul.
Yeah.
Every time you choose to be mindful of yourself, you are actually affecting the collective in ways that the mind will never fully comprehend, but you have to accept that you are that powerful, you are that magical, right?
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
part of a curanderismo apprenticeship, so ancestral practices apprenticeship, right? And so one of the things that one of the teachers was talking to us about, um, the apprenticeship is predominant. I mean, it's really, yeah, it's only Latinos, right? And we've come together from different parts of the world. Some people are Mexican, some people are Peruvian, Guatemalan, and we're coming together to remember like these ancestral practices. And this year has been rough because of all of the because of all of the ice raids happening all over the United States, right? And so one of the things that one of the teachers was reminding us of is, remember, you carry this medicine everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So it's one thing for us to offer like energetic cleansings to the community, right? Which is beautiful. She's like, but when you're not doing that, you carry this medicine wherever you go. You carry this medicine at work. You carry this medicine in your relationship, in your family. You carry this medicine. And so carrying the medicine is being able to just tune into soul, tune into self, and understanding that you have the power to walk into a room and shift the vibration and the energy of that room simply because you've connected to yourself first.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So when we take that out to the collective, believe me, when you go within, you are shifting the energetic fabric of what's being created.
Yeah.
And immediately, it's
Yes.
immediate. Immediate. You can feel if you're in that more soulful expression, the world reacts to you. It's really lovely. And if you're in crunchy fear, anger, I'm not saying you have to bypass where you are, but if you're bringing negativity out into the world, you'll have crunchy, negative interactions with people. There's such we don't talk enough, I think, about the intimate exchange of energy that's happening all the time. It's very, and I mean, we just palpably are feel each other connecting, bouncing off each other, even repelling one another. And like you said, Millie, we have the power to influence the energy we bring everywhere within ourselves and then out into the world. It's like whether we're going to turn the lights on or keep everything dark around us.
It's so profound. And I think it's really easy because we're inundated with this information and all the negativity and all the hardship and travesty and tragedy, right? What we're not seeing either is like the headlines where in every moment there is tragedy, there is also moments of beauty, grace, support, love, expansion. I can't
Yes.
think of one incident or personal story I have with through the people of my life who've gone through something significant like that who can't speak to the earth angel that showed up, who was present, the first to knock on the door, the one to, you know, rush them off to the hospital, whatever it was. There is always someone, in at least one person in these incidents, that is bringing that space of love to the experience that shifts it. And we don't hear those stories. Those aren't the ones that are being broadcasted and noising up our feeds ever.
No.
Hardly ever.
And it's our responsibility to remember that and know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's 2025.
Yeah.
We are not, ignorant of any of this. We're not, like, we know this,
Yeah.
so it's really interesting that the topic, right, of misinformation is so big.
Mhm.
But there is something about that when you think about it, when you flip it on the other side, it's like, oh, that's actually liberating. If you
Mhm.
know that there is so much misinformation floating around there, then what are you choosing to listen to?
That's
And
right.
are you just going outside and being like, well, where am I going to be? What's going to be my source of information? Yourself,
That's right. That's right.
yourself. And the information isn't about just what's going on in the world. I think that's made itself very, very clear. And here, if this is helpful, we have to also remember that Mother Earth and this life is an entity in itself. And the same way that we as individuals go through dark nights of the soul, where sometimes we've experienced everything going to shit
Mhm.
and just the purging, constant purging of our lives to where we get to a point where we're like, when is this going to end?
Mhm.
Mother Earth is going through the same thing. This reality that we're living is going through the same thing. We have to remember that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share something from an astrological perspective. One of the things that we've been experiencing over the last year, and it'll be a year and a half, mid 2026, are North Node in Pisces energy, South Node in Virgo energy. And the North Node in Pisces, the North Node in the zodiac represents the wisdom that we're meant to grow into. And that takes us through lessons so that we can understand what that means. So, Pisces in the zodiac requires a lot of introspection in order to remember, oh, this is what I'm here for, or this is what this means for me, or this is where I find the seat of my soul, right? So what I'm going to read right now is from an evolutionary astrologer named Stephen Forrest. He's my favorite astrologer, and he's talking about water. He's talking about Pisces and water energy, and he says water is about our emotional lives. The volume is turned up to a maximum on the ability to feel with water energy. But here in Pisces, the basic emotional sensitivity is complicated by the presence of an additional layer of psychic sensitivity. So, over the last year and over the first half of 2026, that psychic sensitivity will continue to open up and expand. This is what I mean, that the density of 3D is softening because we are collectively awakening.
Mm.
A Piscean planet is not just dealing with its own emotional life, it is dealing with all of the ambient psychic energies around it as well. It can become caught in those frothing waves and either panic or seek numbness, right?
Mm.
For Pisces, the first evolutionary step lies in not becoming so hypnotized and traumatized by its own sensitivity that it remains trapped on the surface of the psyche, lost in the mere feeling, tossed in turbulent emotion, and simply remaining wide eyed and overwhelmed from the cradle grave. So I'll read one more thing. Pisces draws its energy from the intensity of its downward dive in the moment. It is helpful to think that the deeper it goes, the stronger it becomes. This is valid, but we need to add to the other side of the coin that becoming stuck and complacent at any level of the dive quickly drains the Piscean battery. The fish needs to keep diving. The hypnotic trance of this world must be broken. There is a lot more depth in soul healing.
Wow.
Pisces is this energy that has been so active where our psychic awareness, our ability to feel, our sensitivity, if we have felt it more and more, all of that is real. But what it's calling, what Pisces energy invites us to do is don't get hypnotized by that. Don't get stuck in the trance of all of that. Go deeper within yourself and understand that there is healing there. Pisces, being the last sign of the zodiac, is the sign that reminds us this needs to happen because we're going to begin anew when we get to Aries energy. I know that was a lot, but I wanted to just share that.
So glad you did.
Me too.
So glad you did. And we'll include the reference in our show notes. But it really, every time we connect, Millie, it always feels so affirming to hear the astrological lens. Because we can be going through something, sensing something, experiencing it, and then to have that knowledge and awareness, it's like, yeah, makes so much sense. It's always so validating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Like
Yeah.
there's something holding, there's a structure or a path or a journey that we're all a part of. And
Right.
I love that the zodiac and astrology mirrors that like framework. That there's purpose here. We're going somewhere.
Yeah. Thank goodness, right?
yeah, it's such a relief.
When we think about this and remember, if Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and we see all around us that there are so many cycles of endings, so many cycles of disillusionment, so many cycles where the purest expression of our compassion has been brought to the forefront because of what we see. This is also a calling to us, oh, there's a cycle in me that is ending. And if we're speaking strictly about misery, is how do I end that within me, right? not because not going to experience hard times again, not because life won't be life, but because I have much more agency. And maybe the cycle ending within our human experience as individuals is the cycle of forgetting how much agency we have,
Right.
and being completely defined by everything outside of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that that's at least one of the callings right now.
Yeah. Reclaiming that
Absolutely.
power. Yeah.
And so if
Really.
you find yourself accepting, like I notice I'm accepting suffering or relationships that don't feel good, or I'm accepting my own exhaustion, or I'm accepting complacency, or I'm accepting that I'm always anxious. If you find yourself, you're accepting things that, like, when you stop and think, why am I accepting this? Do I really want to accept this as a part of my life? Do I want more for myself? That's the first step, is the awareness that, like, oh, wait, I don't actually want this. And then you move into a space of like, okay, what is in my control? How am I participating and bringing this into my life? What steps could I take? But it's first noticing, like, where have I just said, this is just the way it is, and moved on?
Mhm.
What do I not want to say that about?
Yeah. And then in the next phase, like once you've declared it, like I'm no longer choosing this or showing up around this or talking about this, for goodness sakes. Like I'm exhausted even talking about or thinking about this.
Right.
Being in that space of openness to what else might be possible is so
Mm-hmm.
key, because that's
Yes.
where we're like inviting now and turning our gaze toward life. It's like this handoff game. It's a passing the baton between action, like aligned action for us, and then how is life going to meet us? I was reflecting on, last year I was in a space of um, kind of nomadicism and I didn't know where I was going to be the next month. And inevitably, every single time before I got to the end of the next space I was leaving, something fell in. Somebody reached out from out of the blue. Um, I got a call from somebody I hadn't talked to in a while. They happened to have a place for me. It was very, it wasn't always comfortable in that space of not knowing.
Yeah.
But as I continued to like hone my faith, it every time it met me. And then when it came time to have my own space, that became clear too. So I share that, hoping that that kind of makes it a little bit more tangible in how that can work when we say like co-creating with life.
Yeah.
Well, life doesn't want us to be miserable. Like, the energy of life, whatever you want to call it, God, universe, spirit, does not want us to be miserable and unhappy and like static. It wants to celebrate us. It wants to be in communion with us. It wants us to co-create with us. And so when we just even crack the door open a little bit and open to love and possibility, life rushes in and says, oh my God, I've been waiting for you. Thank God. Let's breathe together. It's interesting. But if we're like pushing against it and away from it, we're going to feel the impact and the stress and the tension of not listening to our lives, of choosing things that don't serve us. So I'm just offering that, like Patsy's saying, if you can just crack the door and let life in, you'll notice, where does the flow of life want to go? Where does it want to express itself through you? And you'll see clearly where it doesn't, because relationships will fall flat, work will fall flat, living situations will fall flat. If things are falling flat or below, are feeling really hard or dense, life doesn't want to express itself through you that way. And when you get it that way, where's the flow and where am I stagnant? You'll see life's guiding you. It's just up to you whether you can like receive it and be in relationship to it.
Right. I love what you said, Patsy, about honing in on the trust or honing in on the faith.
Mm.
Um, that's what it is, and not from a place of where you're hoping that the universe hears you, or you're hoping that the universe loves you enough. No,
No.
you are unconditionally loved, held, and sustained. You are. You just have to learn to be in relationship with that. And it's going to look very, very differently than the way that we have been taught love.
Yes.
And I just want to name, right? So much of what we're talking about requires so much presence in our own life and our own experience of life that that alone, if you commit to that, that alone like shuts out all of the chaos and the drama that other people in your life may bring. It shuts out the misery
It does.
because misery is contagious. It shuts out the misery of others. And it's so easy to be seduced by that. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? Like the chaos and the gossip. Oh, what's happening? What? Oh, did you hear that so and so is? I could I could care less, right? I do not
Yep.
care, like not even a little bit.
Didn't hear, don't care.
No.
Please don't share.
It's crazy,
Yeah,
right?
it is. It's so seductive.
It
But
is.
when you really start dancing with life, that is far more seductive in
Yes.
in that way. Like I feel
Yes.
like you reach a place where you're like, how does it get any better than this? And I know that that might not land with people, but it truly is. It can be so joyful, so expansive, so rich, and it's holding both things in the same hand. Do you know what I mean? Like the opposites, that polarity, as you named at the beginning, Millie. It's about holding the capacity for both things. And that's where the real richness comes. Um, yeah, it can get good.
It can. It can. And I think there is this, I don't know, there can be like this guilt that someone can feel for that to be the case. And you will notice time and time again that the more, if you are avoiding something in your own life, if you are avoiding leaving the relationship you knew you should have left a long time ago, leaving the job you knew you should have left a long time ago, all of these things, and you try to focus on everything outside of you and feeling guilt for things that you have absolutely no control over or are, quite frankly, none of your business, life will continue to pull you back into your own life. It just will, because it wants you to pay attention to what matters because of everything we've been talking about in this conversation. It's not selfishness, it's presence and self-awareness. And that creates an impact in your own life and in the collective.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is that serious, it is that big of a deal, and it is that magical, and you are that powerful.
Exclamation point.
Yes. And so I feel this conversation is complete, at least for this moment. I'm sure at some point we'll revisit some of the topics or have more to add. But before we go, do either of you have anything you'd like to share that you're working on or offering?
Yeah. I'm still doing the year ahead readings for 2026. It's a 75-minute reading where we go through your chart month to month for 2026. I have already started doing those. I'm so excited for 2026, all the possibility, all the potential. So I invite you to book your reading. I think it's a great resource. Um, and it is also the feedback that I get from people who have at this point come back to me for the last 4 or 5 years.
I love that you offer those. It has been so helpful. I have to get on my
Yes.
calendar. And I will be happy to share that on my newsletter as well. That's what I wanted to talk about is that I will be launching the first edition of my Soul Field Notes newsletter this weekend. So by the time this airs, that will have started its rotation. So the goal for me is to reach your inboxes on off weeks that we're not publishing a podcast.
I'm so excited to receive that. I can't wait to see what you're up to through those newsletters. And yeah, I have a newsletter too, which that's the way I like to share anything I'm working on, but I also like to share writing, and it's called Soul Musings, sharing bits of my life and how it echoes through my soul and my journey. And also, I'm offering intuitive and mediumistic readings. And I'm a part of the In Bloom Summit, a love and relationship event that Real Love Ready is hosting in Vancouver in April. So if you want to know more about that, check out Real Love Ready on Instagram. I know tickets are still available, and the three of us will be there hanging out together. And so we'd love to see you as well. And yeah, thank you, ladies, for this conversation. And thank you for anyone listening for your feedback. If you have any suggestions or questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can private message us through YouTube or through Instagram. And we're just so grateful for y'all. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you for joining us. If something stirred your soul or made you smile, share it with a friend or leave us a review. Until next time.